Okay, so this is yoga for tennis elbow and also preparing you for the crow pose, which is a basic hand balance. We're here in St. Lucia at, what is this, Body Holiday? Body Holiday St. Lucia. Hope you enjoy the lesson. If you like it, subscribe and definitely check out all my content. So, start again, fingers face back towards you. More weight in the thumbs and just bounce back and forth. Whatever is comfortable, try to lock your elbows and tuck your toes under so you're stretching the bottoms of your feet. Put awareness in your wrists and your forearm muscles. And flip over to the back of your hands. Try to lock your elbows and same thing, just bouncing. Notice you could rotate your arms here while your hands are fixed and find the orientation that feels good for you. Free your breath. Flip it over, fingers face forward. You can always untuck your toes if you want. Push the first knuckle down, that's the base of your first finger, and push your shoulders in front of your wrists, forward and back. Try to lock your elbows. Super straight arms, the straightest arms you can make. Forward and back. Turn your hands inwards as far as comfortable. Try to flatten your palms and lock your elbows, and forward and back. And soften your face. Sit back to your heels, or you can always sit cross-legged also. Open and close. And when I close, I flex my wrist, and when I open, I spread wide. Yeah. It only takes a few reps and you start to feel it in the back of your forearms. So play with straight arms. Play with turning your wrists. From full flexion to full extension. Play with taking your hands to the side. This is really, really good stuff. Maybe even take your arms overhead. And maybe even take your arms behind you. And relax. Okay. So let's take a shoulder stretch, take it across. If you can, wrap your hands on the side of your neck. So I hook elbows, take the hand inside the neck, and then turn my head into it. Into it. Yeah. And deep breaths. Great stretch for your shoulder blade more than your shoulder. And switch it up. Cross and then hook inside your neck. If you can't catch the face, you don't need to. You can just pull it. But doing this allows me to relax my shoulders and use my neck muscles to turn. Relax. Take your hands on a swivel. Swivel right fingers towards you and under. And then keep going. Yeah, all the way through. Almost. So in prayer hands. Swivel left fingers away, right fingers towards you. Then keep swiveling so the fingers face away from you. Away, down with the fingers. Yes, good. And then up. And then practice this motion. As I go down, I swivel all the way to the other side. Yeah. There it is, and then left fingers towards you. There it is. Keep going. Fingers away. Nice. And up. Very good. It's a coordination thing. Once you get this, it does a lot for your neurology. And then back down, swivel right fingers towards you all the way. You just swivel on the heels of your hands. Yeah, let the fingers come apart. They're going to separate. Yes. Keep going with it. Fun things are happening. Yep. Yeah, just go there. Push your hands forward. Shoulders forward. Pull your armpits down. Soften your tongue. And then back to prayer. And then left fingers towards you. And under. And push your fingers away. Nope, down through. Yes. Armpits down and forward. Back to prayer. Fingertips interlaced behind your back. Puff your chest. Baby camel. Push your fists down into the top of your feet or into the bottoms of your feet. Puff your chest. And keep your fingers interlaced. Forward fold. Come to the top of your head. Take your arms over top. Try to keep your feet on the ground. Sit your butt back to your heels, lift your chest, and then let go of your arms. Okay, so come back to tabletop. Sometimes turning your wrists out helps with pressure. In fact, let's go really wider, like mat width or wider, fingers face out, and rock side to side. And use your fingertips to push yourself to the opposite side. So you'll use this technique in your crow pose. If you're falling forward, you use finger strength to pull you back from falling on the face. So learn to grip with your fingers without your palm coming up. Keep your palm flat while you push through the fingers. And drop your tongue. Back to middle, stable. Drop your spine, keep your elbows locked. Lock elbows and push your spine to the sky. And drop your spine and push your spine to the sky. This is called retraction, protraction. Retraction, protraction. And keep going, follow your breath. All right, now let's come down to the forearms. Give our wrists a rest. Maybe even palms together or interlace your fingers. Take your right leg back, touch your feet down, push through your inner heel and tuck your tailbone down and forward. Push your forearms down and forward. So you're pushing your feet away from your forearms. Take your right knee back and take your left foot behind you. So your left leg is now straight behind you. Push your forearms forward and down. Push your back foot backwards. Tuck your tailbone. Drop your tongue. Come back to both knees. And now take both legs behind you, feet wide. Lower your tailbone and tuck your tailbone down and forward so your buttocks grips. Push your forearms down and forward, like you're trying to push your feet away from your forearms. Nice. Spine to the sky. Nice, good protraction. Come on down, take a rest. Forehead on the mat, hands by your ankles. Good, come up. So we do an opposite motion. So this is fingers face kind of back, kind of to the side. It's like a 45 almost. And I want to take my knees a little behind, feet stay together. So feet are together, knees are a little wide. And I'm going to practice setting my rib cage onto my hands. And then come back up. And practice setting my rib cage on my hands. And come back up. And really push the first knuckle, the base of your first finger down. And exhale as I lower the ribs onto my elbows, the platform of my upper arms. And come back up. 2 more times. Push the arms into the chest and belly. Your elbows should be bent about 90 degrees. And then come back up. And last one, bend your elbows and set your chest down onto your upper arms. Good. And then come back up. And let's take a break. Yeah? Yeah, it's a lot of wrist pressure, for sure. And so we could do... Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this a long time, so in time, wrists will open up. I really like, I mean, you could do one at a time, but sometimes just for athleticism, I like to put both my knees in the back of my hands like this. It's a good counter pose for your wrists. Yeah. And with your kneecaps, just kind of explore around and see if there's any, juicy tense spots. You can even just kind of set your knees fixed and almost gently pull up on your hands so it pulls your wrists apart. Not too much, maybe even just one at a time, but it helps to traction the wrist joint so it creates space. Are you understanding? Yeah. And drop your tongue. All right. So,
to do crow properly, you need to be able to do...
Oh, that was the peacock pose?
Oh, you get to do that, don't you? So, you need to be able to...
Well, when I do the peacock pose, my palms will stay flat, so I'm not going to come up. And I balance, I want to put my whole rib cage down there onto the platform of my arms. And then it's about opening and closing my knee joint or my elbow joint. So my chest moves forward or backwards. And somewhere in there, the balance is happening. So a lot of people, they try to do it with their elbows closed like this. And some people, it's rare, but some people are so open that they just can't get their head up. So it's somewhere in between. You got to play with that in between place, and then your body lifts. Now, the challenge is you're not going to be able to breathe. It's just the way it is. That's the pose. But it does push a lot of blood to your brain, so it'll help strengthen all the vascular system up there. And it's huge for your wrists. It's really good. If it doesn't hurt. So you build up to it if it hurts now. Would you like to try it, or you want to move on to crow?
I'll practice those.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can do just even on the other...
I remember when crow was such a thrilling pose and peacock was a nemesis. I love peacock more now, so maybe it's just I'm so familiar with crow. So yeah, seeds to blossom, right? To germinate. Okay, so for the crow pose, back of the elbow is...
Very happy with seeds.
With what?
Seeds.
Seeds, yeah. But healthy seeds of good genetics. And the crow pose is going to be feet together. You find this crevice in your elbow where you'd hit your funny bone, and you connect it to not the knee cap, but the condyle, the bony round spot just inside the knee. And feel where they almost like fit into place. And then present your palms and try to drive your elbows down into your knees. So you're a little inside, you're a little too far inside. Yeah. So it's gonna be almost your knees. Yeah, closer, but now you're a little bit back here, so a little forward with the elbows. It's pretty close. Yeah, I mean, you might feel it. I think on your right arm, a little more outwards is gonna be the connection. Yeah, it's really...
It's hard to do the thumbs and the knees, actually.
It's really, well, it's not a knee, it's your femur bone. It's your thigh bone. And so when the knee is closed, it's easiest to find. That's when it's most protruding. Yeah, but it's on the ground there. But yeah, when the knee is fully closed, this bone is most prominent, which is the head of, the tail of the femur. And so it's not going to be inside in the tissues. There's the patella, the kneecap, and right next to it. It's like not even half an inch from it. Yeah. And that bump is where elbow crease will go. pretty close. Yeah.
The right foot.
You're moving around too much. This is your kneecap right here. Right there. That is the point. Yeah, so that's your kneecap. This is the bump. You really want to feel it instead of, because every time you pick up, you empty out your data of what's happening. You really want to slide over and feel it. That's the pinnacle. Oh yeah. Well, that's a that's your shin bone. No, it's not. No. But this is where we want to slide. Yes. Wow, right on it. Good. A little bit. I think that's. Yeah. It's also going to be about softening the elbow tissue so that you can actually sleep with it. Yep. Cool. Also, the balancing part will help clarify it because you'll clearly feel the weight transfer into the bone. You'll have a glimpse of it and you'll clarify that glimpse. So push your elbows down into your knees, feet together, and pull your armpits down. So armpits down, elbows down. Present your palms. Gently squeeze your knees a little together. Look up. And then think about a really long spine. And that's the crow pose. So on the hands, I like to sink into my ankles. This is a really delicate step that is, I think, profound. That I'm sunken into my ankles, so when I go into the pose, I just point my feet. And that takes me as far forward as I need to. And it's very efficient. I don't have to worry about too much other setup.
Your feet are together.
My feet are together, and I'm really sunken into my heels. I set my elbows so like what tends to happen is in the setting, the elbows turn out, which disappears that little connection spot. So if this is happening to you, then turn your hands outwards. Good. And so you think the knee and the elbow are connected right about where they need to be. Hey. And when you have that connection, okay, let's take a pause. There's a lot of moving around, and you're not going to find it doing this. You keep rolling over it. It's too much movement to really locate it. And another thing, this elbow crease, when it's facing inwards, the olecranon process, that thing we're looking for, is facing outwards. So what I need, if you want to make this connection, then spin the elbow crease to face forward. And yes, and keep it like that as you bend your elbows. Good. Yes, now the part where you point your feet. Pointing your feet arrives you there. Good. So to help you find the platform, you point your feet and then bend your elbows more, which will lower your chest. Yeah, sore wrists. Yeah. So your setup, you have a lot of weight in your hands. Like in my setup, I can almost lift my hands. I'm on my feet mostly. It's a weight transfer, so I'm mostly on my feet. Place the hands, find this connection. You're quite inside your knee. So for you, the big skills are going to be not inside the knee, not spinning in. This is what you're doing. What I need is spin out and get the elbows a little more lateral. Not so medial, more lateral. Yeah, in my setup, there's like very little, 10% of my weight's in my hands. And I just noticed because your wrists seem tired, you came up and your wrists were sore. So in your setup, you're already like trying to grip, you know. So in the setup, really light hands. And I think, you know, because the balance is going to come with practice, but what's really needed is repetitions of the setup. Repetitions of come from a squat, place your hands, point your feet, all fours stay down. Then come back to your squat, then place your hands, bend your elbows, feel the connection. Repeatedly come in and out of the pose before you actually go up into the balance, and feel this connection. Go ahead. And then come on back towards the feet. Maybe even lift your hands. That was a good one. So yeah, and then we try again. And then come on back to the feet. That looked really good too. I know it was a little wobbly, but
I've got a connection with that side. I'm not gonna
yeah, I thought I mean, it's improving. So let's do like 3 more, and on the 5th one, I'll encourage you to try to balance. Before you try again, lift your hands. Yes. Good. Go ahead. Beautiful. 2 more tries. Good, and this time lift your hands and take your elbows off your knees too. Yeah, and then try again. Set it again. Yeah, so point the toes to help. Look forward if you can. Nice. Take your time, weight transfer. So patient. So patient. It's brilliant. And let's take a break. That was really good. How do you feel about it?
No, it's really good. That's amazing. But it's just getting those simple, and I think you're right. Just got to practice the setup, get used to that. And it's a transfer of weight, so just putting everything into my hands.
Yeah, and the trusting yourself and your finger strength. Trust your finger strength. And yeah, I think, you know, 10 or 20 more repetitions of that
And
come
it's
to.
just muscle memory. It's finding.
Yeah,
that's
exactly. That's
really hard.
repetitions of that setup.
Yeah.
You'll be able to blindfolded find the connection.
Yeah, and
You know?
I can't find that connection, so I'm kind of really fumbling around. But
Yet.
it will come, you just kind of know.
Yes, it will come. Yeah. So, you know, one of my favorite wrist therapies is pinching. This is a great one. I learned this from Jason Niemer. He's the guy that founded the partner yoga called Acro Yoga International. So pinch it high towards the wrist, base of the thumb, open and close your hand. And fix your foot on the ground. Yeah. Yeah, can you close the knee and then plant the foot? Yeah. Yes, good. Yeah, you can use the other hand to just kind of help you stand up tall. See, if the foot's not down, it requires a lot of leg strength. If you can plant the foot, it lessens your effort. Yeah. Does it hurt? Feels good? All right, switch it up. So I just close my wrist in the knee, plant my foot, and then lean into it. Use my other hand for support, and then open and close my hand against the resistance. It's good. Looks good. Okay. And all right, guys. I'll see you later.
Subscribe.